so now I'm going, wait a minute, I can step back. So I brought a whole bunch of different ideas, but I did want to take one small detour. Because for me, doing some of these habits and things, I do a daily practice. I brought some of my gratitude journals. They've kind of grown over the years. I started very small, and I'll talk a little bit more about how we can help our brain, because I figure some good tools is a good idea. Now my gratitude journal has grown, and it's very, very precious, and my family knows that it's a very important practice, a daily practice that I have. So this is really interesting about changing habits. And I don't know about you, but I was growing up with, I've had coaches and I've studied with different people, but I don't know if you've heard the 21 days, you change a habit, 30 days, you change a habit. Heard any of that? Did you hear any of that? Yeah. Well, I didn't do so good with that. So of course, I would think that I failed. So any of those models, I usually quit or stopped using them. Interesting too, a lot of our government-run rehabs, I think, are 30 days. So I wanted to know where all this comes from, because again, this is a mystery to me. And I was reading a book, actually a lot of you know John Gray, Venus and Mars. Okay. I was reading that, and he says, right at the beginning, he said, it takes the brain 200 times to hear a concept before it can grasp it. 200 times. And then 150 if you're a genius. I'm reading this, I'm going, you're kidding me. So I wanted to find out. He doesn't cite the research. So that kind of got me on this little path. I'm going, wait a minute, I got to find out about learning habits and stuff like that. So I'm Googling and searching, talking to my colleagues, asking about things, stuff like that. So I found out where it started. And Dr. Maltz, spelled malt with a Z, he wrote Psychogenics, and you may have heard this book. It sold 30 million copies. Very popular book. It's one of those basic books when you want to change your life, and Kathleen is nodding her head, so she's heard of it. Well, I don't know if you know, but he was a plastic surgeon. Something that he noticed was that when he amputated a digit, arm, foot, whatever, it took a minimum keyword, because that got dropped, a minimum of 21 days for the patient to accept the loss of a limb. Okay? So he translates this. This goes in about minimum of 21 days. Well, as we would do, this was written in the 50s, okay? Industrial era. Time for another talk about all that, why that's important. So we go and drop minimum. And I'm not going to name some of our popular gurus of the day. However, they're going, oh, hey, 21 days, change a habit, be a new person. Why not sign up for that? It sounds good, it's not too painful, it's short, right? I had a coach, he said, a habit every month. That didn't last very long. Anyways, so Philippa Lawley, she's a health psychologist, researcher at the University College of London. This was a mystery for her too. So this is online, so you can look it up, or if you want to grab notes from me after, that's fine. Anyways, she did a study of 96 people, and she did the study over 12 weeks. She asked them all to pick a habit. So they got to choose. So I thought that's cool. So what she noticed, and she tracked, what she was looking for was how long did it take them to have this habit without prompting, without any prompts or reminders. What she learned in this study was that it took from anywhere from 18 days, now get this, to 284 days to change a habit. Here were the factors, and this is so true, and I love things when they're practical. It depended on the habit itself, it depended on the person and their circumstance. Okay? So the other thing was, so if a habit was to drink a bottle of water with your lunch, that one was a simpler one than to run for 15 minutes after supper. You can even see that just two simple habits, but very, very different in their complexity and what they wanted to do. So, what she found out, the average was actually 2 months, and she says 66 days to be exact, and as far as 8 months. Well, I don't know what that does for you, but it sure made me feel better. And it works, because what I do is, in my practice, this was before this research is just from 5 or 6 months ago. For, I don't know, 6 years now, 7 years, I've been doing daily practices. I'm also doing goals for the year, and I do affirmations. Well, the interesting part to me is this fits, because it takes me about 8 months. In and around there. Depends on the goal, and I've seen that, and I just thought, oh yeah, well, whatever, things lined up, so it makes sense. And it felt better, because I started to feel that, oh, I can do this. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that information is here. So I just thought, before I ended, I wanted to talk about a few things we could do to partner with our brain and start changing the thoughts and growing this joy space. And I'm sure that you probably have some things as well. And I'm just going to list them at the bottom here. So I'm just going to put that big. Make this a bigger space. So what the ideal is, if something does happen in our life, that we can go, pause, and then we decide, is this a place we need to respond, react? Is it a pain place, or is it a joy space? So we have that awareness, okay? So what are some of the things we can do to help our brain? I know, because we all do this, but we're just going to make a bigger list. So what are some of the things? What can we do?
I need some joy. I go see my grandchildren, little, 1.5, 3-year-olds.
Okay, so family, yeah. And what do those little ones do? Because right now you're doing it.
They smile.
Yeah, they make us smile. So smiling, laughter, comedies. I'll tell you something. When I wanted to do this, I knew I wasn't laughing. So you know what I would do? It's a little sad, actually. I bought comic books. I made myself read them at night until I started to laugh. And at the beginning, it took me 20 minutes to half an hour. And I tried different ones. Hobbs and Kellogg. Just went to the used bookstore and loaded up. It started to work, though. Starting to watch comedies. My family knows. Rather watch a comedy. Because I need to grow this space. I want this to be my default. Okay? What else do we do? I know that you do it here, so come on. What else? What else do we do here to help our brain? Friends, yeah. Exercise, yeah.
Hobbies.
Yeah. And what about practices? When I just talked about.
Right.
And what specifically was I writing?
Gratitude.
This is huge. Do you remember Wayne Dyer? He said this, I think it was in the late 80s, fake it till you make it. I did not like that comment, and I didn't understand it. It fits so much with this, because at the beginning, you don't think you're being authentic. You don't think you're being honest. But your brain, you've got to train your brain. You've got to show it another pathway. So you just keep doing it. When I started my gratitude journals, I just knew I had to change channels. I had to. So I made myself do it morning and night. And you know what? Now I wake up with a smile. All day long I'm thinking about what I can put in that journal, and I go to sleep with a smile. So it works. And the days I wake up that I really don't feel very good, I start reading those pages. And honestly, I get through maybe a day and a half and I start smiling because it's there. We've done the work. So what else? Things like prayer. And I'm going to put meditation. What's that? Music. And I want to, what else? Actually, you kind of touched on it a bit, and so did you. So if you go a little deeper with what's going on here, what is it? Yep.
I find we get together with friends and sing lots.
Sing, yes. Oh, yes.
And dance.
Yep.
Relationship.
Yep. And keep going. What is underneath relationship? What
Love.
is the
Love.
love? This is huge. Well, when you love, process of life, you love the earth, you start loving plants, pets, your friends. You mentioned friends, family, the 2- and 3-year-olds, your relationships. Love, okay? It grows the joy space, okay? Remembering fun things. When I started on this journey, a colleague of mine, he said, you know what, you do some pretty cool stuff and you didn't even talk about it. Okay. So talk about it. Tell your family, tell your friends. You know, if a child is doing something good, tell them again. Talk about it again at supper time. When Dad comes home, guess what? Talk about it again. Make it bigger. Because this is what you're doing. You're reinforcing the neural pathway. It's important. Okay, so remembering fun things, recalling good memories, and there's 2 more that I'd like to add. Actually, you've done a lot here, but can you think of them? 2 more?
Gardening?
No, it's more an action. And you know what? If someone sneezes, what do we say?
Bless you.
So blessing or compliment or...
We bless, yeah, we say bless you. But you know what? How often do we just say bless you? How often do we say that for putting out cookies? Bless you. For putting out refreshments? Bless you. It's different than thank you. Yes, we're grateful, but bless you. Bless your life. So blessing each other. Blessing, and I learned that from someone else. I didn't make this up. I've been collecting these, so. And the other one is grace. Actually, I guess I have one more. So blessing and having grace. And with that is tolerance. So grace, tolerance. And also